Radio Raheem here with Eddie Hearn. What a fire of a week, man. It's wet and cold and rainy here, but it's hot on fire in these press conferences. It's a lot for you to handle. You were the first to come in contact with the table yesterday.
Yeah.
When you saw him stand up, did you have any idea that, Chisora was so excitable, so ignitable?
Yeah, because I was just looking at Derek Chisora, and it was the same thing, and the gloves are off. When I was watching him and the gloves are off, his eyes change, and then I said, something's going to happen here, and then bang. And then yesterday, probably 30 seconds before that happened, I saw it again. I looked at Clifton Mitchell, the security guard, and I went, well, get ready. Because I thought he was just going to stand up and say, and then you just say, look. I mean, the good news is, obviously, we don't like to see that in boxing. The good news is they never came within 10 feet of each other. The security was excellent. We kept them at separate sides of the table.
Well, thanks to you, you flipped it over your head.
Yeah, I know. And then sort of Chisora cut to me and said, and what, and you? I said, what? It's not me, what? So we had that. We had the David Haye thing. We had Shannon Briggs turn up, today. And it's a difficult one because everybody in the world now is looking forward to that fight. Yet what we saw was not good for boxing. So you have to get the mix right. I've had some journalists come up to me saying, they should both be banned for life. And it's like, but then other people on the street saying to me, how good was that? I can't wait for the weekend.
Right.
So it's about getting the mix right between hype, bad blood, and following the conduct of the sport. And sometimes they overlap, and they did yesterday.
And as a promoter, is exactly what I was going to ask. These things, they're kind of good for the fight, if not good for the sport. That can be debated, but they're certainly good for the attention on the fight. And does it give you any pause that if guys can't control themselves in the press conferences and whatnot, that we've seen things go haywire in the ring? Are you worried that if it gets crazy in the ring, now that will be bad for the sport and the fight?
I don't actually think it will, because both guys really want to win the fight. I mean, they've trained really hard. It's a WBC eliminator for the world title. And when they come together, it's fine. And then they just, and then after about 10 minutes, then it erupts. So I think both guys, I've spoke to Dillian, I've spoke to Derek, they're almost like nothing's happened. They're just like, as soon as they go back to the hotel, switch off, back focus. They're both training last night. We've got a hearing with the board today at 3 o'clock. Derek's going to have to explain himself. And then hopefully we move on to what I believe will be a very good fight and a very important fight in both of their careers.
Now, last point, Chisora talked about calling the fight off. If he keeps threatening my life, he's going to call the fight off and all that. So obviously throwing the table is out of sorts. But what about the threat to his life made by Dylan White, and how does that play?
Dylan shouldn't do that, but he does it every fight. So
you can't take it serious.
No, but at the same time, Derek can't necessarily look at it like that, and that's what upset Derek Chisora yesterday. So, I think that Dylan's got to stop doing that. You see after the fight, he's very respectful. He went up to Dave Allen. In fact, he brought him into his camp for the next fight. Same with Ian Lewinson. And I believe you'll see good sportsmanship after this fight as well. But, Dylan's got to just be smarter with what he says and can't provoke people in that way. Like I say, I'm looking now to brush it under the carpet, take the slaps on the wrist if we have to, because it was wrong, and move forward and give the fans the fight they want to see. They've had the build-up, good and bad, but they all want to see it. So let's just get it on. Let's get them. They're going to weigh in separately on Friday. They won't come into contact till they see each other in the ring.
Are you going to have to roll these guys in like Hannibal Lecter suits for the weigh-in? How are you going to do the face?
They won't weigh in together. They won't weigh in the venue. I'm going to weigh them in the hotels separately. They won't even go to the venue.
There you
we
are.
Can't afford, it's like, we want this fight to happen. The fans want this fight to happen. The broadcasters want this fight to happen. So at the moment, we're right on the edge of saying this is just too much. So let's not give them the opportunity to do too much. We made a decision not to do a head-to-head yesterday. Right. But we didn't get that far.
Right.
But we were going to do the weigh-in, and now we're not even going to do the weigh-in. So we're taking the necessary precautions with the British Boxing Board of Control to make sure that that's it. It's done. But we have to answer to them today in the meeting.
Fair play. The main event, finally we get to, Anthony Joshua obviously is expected to win this fight, and it's one of those things where a fighter feels like he's got something on the horizon, like obviously Klitschko possibly. How do you as a promoter make sure that he stays focused, doesn't look past Molina, and yet still put in front of him solid fights that'll be entertaining for the fans.
Well, I think the good news is it's Anthony Joshua, and he makes sure that he doesn't overlook any opponent. So he's a great pro in that respect. He takes Molina very seriously. Rob McCracken feels like this is the toughest fight of Joshua's career so far. And Molina's pumped. His team are pumped. You know what you're going to get from Molina. He's going to come, swing lever. He's not afraid to let his hands go. They know the only way they can beat Joshua is to knock him out. So that's what they've planned for. Very interesting the way he talks about those tactics.
Now the odds don't reflect that. It's like 12 to 1.
Of course, but everyone, I mean, the odds for AJ against David Haye is that he's a favourite in the fight. Against Klitschko, he's a favourite. So people just presume that he walks for everybody. When he boxed Dillian Whyte, he was the same odds as he is for this fight. So
that was a tough match.
Yeah, and look what happened in that fight. So and even the Brazil fight, people say it won't go 2 rounds. 7 rounds, good fight. You get a good fight. The problem is with the speed and power of Anthony Joshua, you get hit on the chin, and you're going to be hurt, and you're going to be in trouble. So,
now, you've mentioned David Haye, who's been winding you guys up quite a bit in the last couple of weeks as well. What's the tension between you and he, and how do you deal with the fighters when it comes to these kind of like comments?
Well, David Haye's a great self-publicist, and he loves the attention. Probably a bit more like myself, actually. So we clash. He likes to have all the control. He's a control freak, and when he doesn't have the control, he doesn't like it. So, when I'm up there talking on behalf of the show, he thinks he should be talking. He's a fighter, not a promoter. I'm not going to start putting the gloves on and start getting in the ring. I can't fight. He can't promote. He thinks he can, but he can't. So he should let us do the business. We'll drive the show. Haye Bellew will be huge, do huge numbers. It's sold out in a couple of minutes. And, I talk about this fight as Shannon Briggs is over there. Well, the numbers say it is. The numbers say it is.
God.
No, it's not.
Well,
The numbers say different, Eddie.
Really?
Yeah, the numbers say different.
Really?
All around the world, people are saying we want to see me smash.
On your Twitter.
No, around the world. We put out like a census, and they came back and said we want the fight. We want to see.
What was the sample number?
Oh man, I think it was like a 3.2. Yeah, 3.2. Yeah, that's the fight that people want to see. Make the fight. You know what, champ? I came here. I'm looking for meat. I'm hungry. I'm looking for meat. Who you got? Put them on the table.
We got loads.
Yeah.
We got Joshua.
Yeah.
We got the Haye Bellew winner. We got Ortiz. You like the Ortiz fight?
I love it, champ. I love it.
That's a good fight.
I love the fight. It's a great fight. My ex-trainer and manages his trainer, Hearn. So that's what been the holdup between me and him.
How long you got, Briggs? How many fights can you make still?
Man, come on. I just turned 45 Sunday. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm unstoppable, man. I can't keep sparring partners. I can't even keep somebody to hold the pads for me.
So you got to climb the ladder to get to an Anthony Joshua. You think Ortiz is on that way? Is on that ladder?
I've been ordered a WBA heavyweight title fight, and hopefully it'll be Ortiz if Eddie, we can come to some agreement. That's what I came for. I know where you live at, so I'll be out there to talk to you Sunday. Sunday, champ. Let's go, champ. And I'm just looking forward to a great fight. Whoever Eddie can put in there, we can make it happen.
All right. Thanks for crashing my interview. It's a pleasure. First time I ever got crashed by Shannon Briggs. I guess we can end the interview there. Lastly, on Saturday night, man, you've got a stacked card. Cheers to you. You continuously do that. What do you honestly think is going to be the most exciting fight of the night? Matchup-wise, styles?
I'd actually probably say Yafai against Conception. I think it's a great fight for the World Super Flyweight title. Also, keep your eyes peeled for Burton against Buglioni for the British Heavyweight title. Chisora White, of course. And I think AJ Molina will be very, very explosive. And look out for the return of Scott Quigg, Callum Smith, the #1 super middleweight in the world with the WBC, and also Katie Taylor.
Has Shannon Briggs done himself any favors today?
All right. Shannon's a good guy. Good guy. He always brings entertainment. And the good thing is, I asked him to be quiet in the press conference, and he was. So I have to take my hat off to him.
Radio Raheem with Eddie Hearn, putting on a fantastic show Saturday night at the Manchester Arena. Always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Cheers, mate.
We'll see you Saturday night.